Cobra.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. I'm John Jitt II, your host as always, and happy Thursday, July 8th, 2021. Happy to have you guys with us. It's a beautiful day here in East Lansing. Had a little bit of rain today. It's a little bit wet, a little bit muggy out. The sun just made an appearance, so we're happy. We're feeling good. Got a lot of topics here to discuss today. Just want to do a little Thursday check-in, kind of see how everybody's doing, feel everybody out, put some feelers out there. So if you're joining us live, thank you for tuning in. So let's talk about the gin and tonic that just came out today. It's actually live. I just posted it, just shared it to my Facebook page, my profile. It is regarding NCAA athletes have just recently been allowed to receive payment via endorsements, trainings, summer camps, social media posts, things of that nature. A lot of these athletes have built very great social media presences, and they have been allowed to, be blessed with that opportunity. And they've made a name for themselves. They call it NIL, name, image, and likeness. So these three things, they put you out there in the stratosphere as far as being recognized amidst, everybody watching you around the world via the social media wave. So it's kind of crazy. Something that has really overtaken the collegiate atmosphere, the scene. It's really become a public thing. So these athletes, they've become, social figures, public figures. They're going to be able to profit from that now. So props to them. There's mixed feelings on that because there's athletes that, they were around, back in the day, even 80s, 60s, 90s. These athletes, they didn't get to get paid, and maybe they always wanted to. Sam, my brother, was always he was a track athlete at Michigan State, and I remember talking to him and a lot of other track athletes that I used to live with and talk to, that they used to go through hell essentially just trying to get their grades done while also trying to make workouts, trying to go to conditioning, trying to get to the trainer's room, trying to do all these different things and juggle everything at once. It was a real task. So I think these athletes do deserve some compensation, whether it's in the form of, payment or not. I think that's a different discussion. But the fact that the NCAA, their hand has been forced essentially by different states allowing this to happen. And there's been different bodies, different political bodies at work trying to fight for these athletes to get them more liberties and rights as far as getting payment for all the work that they do. So I think that there's a fine line to be walked on to allow this to happen. And I think that you're going to have to see how it works out in practice to really see how it's going to work. It could be a problem down the road, but we don't really know that yet. We got to see it happen. So the football season's almost upon us. And then quickly following after that is the basketball season. Those are the two big profit-making sports for most colleges and universities around the United States and abroad. So this is going to be a big testament to that. Let's talk about the GinEuro challenge that has undertaken us. It's between me and Caden, my next door neighbor. He's been assisting me with a lot of Gin Pro stuff. Really happy about that. Big shouts out to Caden for that, Caden Carter. So it's been a little shaky for Caden. As you can look down there at the bottom of your screen, he's 2-4 after starting pretty halfway through the first stage or the first round of the knockout stage. He goes 2-4, having a couple big wins in the semis, taking Italy and England. And I just want to talk about the England-Denmark game real quick. So it's been a Denmark story. Everybody's known that. We can see that. We can talk about Christian Eriksen all we want. And Denmark, they really rose to the occasion as far as becoming a super team amongst, a lot of other major teams that have fallen before them. And the biggest upset probably in the Euros is the Denmark-France game where Denmark won it in penalties. And Denmark didn't win that. Switzerland won that. But there's big wins that Denmark, they won some big games. Let's just put it that way. And I wanted Denmark to go all the way. I'd like to see them go against Italy. Obviously, the Azzurri, I'm fighting for the Azzurri. They're in the final game. So the Euro final, Italy and England is happening this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So I'm really excited for that game. Really excited to see the Azzurri succeed and hopefully win it all. They have a lot of unfinished business, and they finally have a team that they can ride into the sunset with. And there couldn't be a better year than this year to win the Euros for the Azzurri. So Forza Azzurri, I'm going to say it to the day I die, no matter how good or bad they are, always fight for the Blues. And it's the only time you're going to hear me say go Blues is when I'm talking about the Italian national squad. It's about the Azzurri, not go blue like go blue Michigan. No, you're never going to hear me say that. Put the S at the end, and then we're talking about a different team, different sport altogether. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a tough contest fighting against England, Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling. Those strikers, they've shown themselves, they proved themselves over the course of their tenure in national football and professional football. So I'm really excited about that. Big thanks to Chuck, Sammy, and Caden for hopping on some live streams and some podcasts to discuss the Euros, and it's been a hell of a ride. I really enjoy the Euros. It's one notch, probably half a notch below the World Cup for me, and I'm really into soccer, especially international soccer. It takes a completely different, type of understanding when even compared to club soccer, where it's both soccer, yeah, but we're talking about two different squads where a lot of these guys that are playing international football are also playing for some major squads in club play. So really excited about this final happening this Sunday. And there's a lot of stuff going on. We have the Wimbledon final. We have, the women's and the men's final. We have, we would have had some Stanley Cup games, but the Tampa Bay Lightning won it all last night against the Montreal Canadiens at home. So shouts out to the Bolts. They won it all. I was pulling for the Canadiens. I'm not going to lie, I was pulling for them. Montreal, they did a hell of a job this year to make it this far. And Carey Price, we wanted them to win it, but they fell short, and it is what it is. So, to see them win it twice, yeah, it's good for American hockey. It is. And did we get as much into hockey this year with Gin Pros as much as we wanted to? Probably not. But, it is what it is. We can only follow so many sports, and we can kind of pick and choose. We have that liberty to pick and choose the sports that we want to follow and we want to dive into. So I'm excited to see where hockey brings us. And we're definitely going to dive into hockey going into next season. So it's not over yet, and we have our chance to redeem ourselves going forward. As you can see, I got my Nick Lidstrom cup right here. Always pulling for the Wings, no matter what, ride or die. It's been a tough couple years for the Wings. They have some rebuilding to do. Nobody really knows. Nobody can really tell when they're going to be a super team again. But they were always in contention. Ever since I was a kid, they were always in somewhat of contention for, especially the playoffs. A playoff berth was automatic, but most often it was a Stanley Cup berth that they were looking for. So a lot of work to do in Detroit sports-wise. We're talking Tigers. We're talking, obviously, the Lions, where they're going to have to prove themselves this year with Dan Campbell at the helm and a lot of different guys and gals up in senior positions down there at Ford Field. Don't want to talk too much about the Lions right now. The Hawaii Blue, the Honolulu Blue. We don't have to talk about it too much. We know how we stand here at Gin Pros about the Honolulu Blue and the Detroit Lions. It's not that good. It's not that, high-spirited. So, but this is one thing I'm excited about. And I've said this before. I've said this publicly before. I'm going to talk about the Lions right now for this next little bit. I'm not going to drain it out. I'm not going to drag it out too long. But we are expecting new things. We're expecting new horizons. I'm part of a couple Detroit Lions group chats and, things of that nature, pages on Facebook. And it is a mess. The vast majority of it is people that are just goo gaga over the Honolulu Blue and the Detroit Lions. It's absolutely sickening. It makes me sick to my stomach every time I click on a post or that page. And I just see people all over the place. They're just kissing the ass of the Detroit Lions. And I'm not a big fan of seeing that, just because I've seen what it's done to football fans across the globe. It's completely shut them out. It's completely, drained their spirits to nothing. And it's hard for me to see that. It's hard for me to see that about passionate people, passionate fans, and I can't take anything away from these guys because they're passionate. They really care about what they're doing, and they're pulling for their team, the hometown team. So I can't really knock them too much for their passion. But at the same time, I blame the team, and I fault them for falling victim to that, because they can fall victim to it real easy, and they're going to follow blindly no matter how good the team does, no matter what the team either does or doesn't do for the fans. So that's a completely different issue. That's all I'm going to say about it. But in the silver lining between all of that is I'm looking for the Detroit Lions to show us something new. I don't want to see you. You might not go 11-6. That's fine. But I do want to see some changes. I want to see a change in presentation. I want to see a change in posture. I want to see a change in dynamics. These things are possible without even winning games. These things are possible. And to see a change of the rhetoric behind the Detroit Lions franchise, that's a possibility regardless if you win games or not. So, yeah, you're going to look at your record at the end of it, but let's just see how they play. Let's see how they compete. I'm really excited to see how they do. The Corona Challenge 2 video is live. It just got posted last night. Hit the radio waves, hit the YouTube, social media outlets all over the place. And that video will be posted shortly to the website as well, along with all the standings. There you have some good antics, some good interviews that Bree and Mallory took on Saturday the 19th of that event. Really good event. Turned out really good. We dodged the rain for the most part. We actually just got the event out of the way before the rain really came down. So praise God for allowing us to get that event taken care of and let it happen unscathed, let it happen without a hitch. So really happy with how that event happened. It turned out really good. The hometown boys won it. Two of our own, Nick Donnelly and Jason Newman, won it for the 2021 Cup or the Challenge. They won the jackets. They were putting the jackets on. Actually, Dom and Mickey put the jackets on them, which was an entirely different presentation process. And they lost it by a hair. They won, or they got second place by a nose hair against Otto and Muha. And it came down to a handicap hole, as you guys all know. So really interesting competition, and to see them compete in those conditions was really interesting to see. The course was in great shape. Just go check out the video. It's a great video. It has some clips of some of the teams hitting shots, teeing off, and doing some other things too. So check it out for yourself. That is on our link tree. You can check it out down below on the bottom of the screen. The ticker, it is on there on our YouTube channel, and really exciting stuff. So check the video out. Really good stuff. Another story that could possibly be another gin and tonic going into next week is we're looking at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. They're upon us. They're almost here, coming late July. Really excited for the Olympics. You know, it's just July. July is a crazy month because you have the Euros, you have Wimbledon, you have the Olympics, which only come every 4 years. The Euros come every 4 years. And it's just an exciting time, a great time to really see the teams, to see the countries come out and compete. I was watching a lot of the track, trials. The trials are sweet. The track and field trials are sweet to watch. Me being a big track and field fan myself, growing up with it in my family, with Sam being a big competitor. And it's just really exciting. It's a great time to be alive. And let's just talk about the Euros for a second going into the Olympics. Now, a lot of these squads are going to be transferring into Olympic football going into, the next couple of weeks. So if they're knocked out, they're training, they're getting recouped, and they're going straight to Tokyo to compete. Now, the topic at hand, the issue is Tokyo 2020, the Olympics, will not have fans because of a recent COVID emergency that has transpired amidst the community in Tokyo, Japan. Big controversy, big deal. Now, obviously, the fans are a big component of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, as they are in any Olympics. And the fans are a big prospect and a big component of that. Without the fans, it's going to be a different atmosphere. It's going to be going back to the dark days of COVID, where we had no fans. You look at the Euros, they're putting 60,000 people in Wembley Stadium, which is kind of amazing, going to that and then having no fans in Tokyo. Now, I get it. It's geographical. We're seeing different surges, and COVID has not left us yet, even though it seems like it has. Going in different stores, you're going everywhere. I go to the gym all the time, don't have to wear a mask anymore. And it's really amazing. It's really kind of crazy to emerge out of that. But to see that it's still here, this is a great display of that. Not a great display, but it's a perfect display for the conversation. But it just shows that we're not out of the woods yet. So it's going to be a different dynamic. Will it affect the athletes? I think it will, especially a lot of these athletes have performed, and they've got a taste of performing in front of fans as of late. So to see them perform and go back to the dark days, performing in vacant stadiums is going to be a sight to see. And it's going to be interesting to see how it affects the athletes individually and team-wise by country. So let's see how that happens. Still got a couple weeks before the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, before the torch gets lit, and I'm really excited for that. It's going to be exciting. Let's talk about the match that happened 2 days ago. DeChambeau and Rogers, they won against Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady. Brady and Mickelson gave a great fight. I think Tom really got in his own head. Phil really attempted to get in Bryson and Aaron Rodgers' head early on. He was chirping them. He was getting in their head. He was talking to them. And, that's the kind of thing you got to do in 2v2 style golf. And I have a very close relationship with 2v2 style golf, having played in multiple Corona Cups, having played in Corona Challenges, and things of that nature. So the format is nothing as a surprise to me. They played an interesting format, different than we usually do, different than the Corona franchises and plays our events. They played an alternate shot, but it was a modified alternate shot. So it wasn't completely the same as alternate shot. They were taking, everyone was hitting their drive. Everyone could drive off the tee. But from there, whatever drive they took, say Phil Mickelson drove into the fairway, Tom Brady hit it into shit. they're going to take Phil's drive, obviously. So Tom Brady has to take that next shot, and then they alternate all the way until it gets in the hole. So a little bit interesting there. But another thing that I would tweak with that, I would leave the format the way it is. I like that format. I'm thinking about talking to the franchise, the Corona franchise of events, to have events like that that involve a little bit more skill, a little bit more concentration. You don't have 2 shots from every shot, from every place on the course. But the thing I would change it to stroke play instead of match play. So you're going 1 up, down, 2 up, down, 2 up, 3 up, down. It's a little bit confusing. It makes your head spin. And you can get essentially a 20 on a hole. The other team could birdie, and you're only getting 1 up on that, which doesn't really allow for much wiggle room when you're talking about different strokes. You don't play the entire 18 holes like this one ended on the 16th. And they were 3 up. Bryson and Aaron Rodgers were 3 up going into the 17th. They would have played it, but they didn't have to because, it wasn't that tight of a race going into the end. But if it was stroke play, anything can happen on any single hole. So it adds a little bit more to the stamina of the players. It adds a little bit more of the excitement for the viewers. And that's just a suggestion I would make. Yeah, it drags it out a little bit more because you got to do the interviews with Chuck. You got to have, like Gronkowski called in, some other guys called in. Even Cleveland's clown Baker Mayfield called in, and he was talking to different people and kind of, shooting the shit with them a little bit. That's great. That's all fun and good. But I think you modify that and make it stroke play instead of match play. Just my 2 cents on that. But it is what it is. Let's talk about tonight's contest. Suns Bucks at the Suns in Phoenix. Game 2 tonight. Phoenix goes into this one 1-0. It's a really exciting matchup. Phoenix absolutely laid the hammer down on the Milwaukee Bucks. With the Milwaukee Bucks kind of coming back, they made an attempt to make it an interesting game going into the final minutes, but it was too little too late for the Bucks. And I just don't know if they have the stamina to withstand the agility and the tenacity that the Phoenix Suns possess. Now, this is a very interesting team. There's 2 good matchups. Chris Paul's obviously trying to win his first ring. It's a big deal for him, and also Devin Booker. The Suns have unfinished business. I get that. But they're going to have to put the hammer down. They're going to have to really, finish. They're going to have to get it done and hopefully get a lead early as far as games. They can get up 2-0 tonight. That's going to be a big deal. 3-0 is going to be even better. So I'm really rooting for the Suns. I'm pulling for the Phoenix Suns. I really want them to win this. They deserve it. Bring it home to Phoenix. And they have the unfinished business going back to the bubble. So we have Phoenix minus 4.5 tonight. Who do we take? Who is my pick? I like Phoenix minus 4.5. Let's take it. Let's pound it. It's a home game for Phoenix, so I'm really excited about it, and it's going to be a great game. They got the home court advantage with a lot of good hometown fans in presence to support their hometown team. So it's going to be a good game. Pull for Phoenix. Take them minus 4.5. Let's see what else we got here. So that's pretty much all I have as far as news-wise. If you guys have anything for me, please don't hesitate to comment in the comment section. I want to hear from you guys. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation, and I'll address those comments as I kind of get through the rest of this game. So we're looking for Devin Booker. He has the broken nose from Pat Beverly back in the previous series against the Clippers. And it was kind of a dicey series. There was a lot of, hand-to-hand combat, and it was an interesting dynamic as far as competition goes. It wasn't the friendliest of competition. It was dog eat dog. It was these 2 teams are out for blood. Who's going to attack? Who's going to defend? And it was really a mess. To see them come out of that series was important. On the flip side, having the Bucks come out of that series against the Hawks was also a very impressive series of events. Having Giannis hyperextend his knee, that was a very scary hyperextension of the knee. If you go back and watch a video, you'll cringe, you'll pucker a little bit just watching that video because it's kind of shocking. And the leg can only bend that way so far, and then it's going to buckle all the way, and then you're really looking at some serious injuries and some serious knee injuries, which, as we all know, I can't watch those. We've seen them before, and I'm not going to name any specifically, but we've seen them before, and it's not really a sight to see. It's really kind of cringeworthy if you get down to it. So I don't want to see anything like that. I was obviously rooting for the Hawks. I wanted to see Trae Young win it and fight against the Suns in the finals, but it is what it is. I never want to see any athlete get injured. I don't want to see any athlete really, struggle to get up or, go to the locker room or anything like that. I don't like seeing that no matter what side it is, no matter what side I'm rooting for or against. So let's get that out the open for everybody to know. I don't want to confuse anybody by saying that. That's pretty much all I got to say about that, guys. Stay tuned to our Gin Gamers. Obviously, Reversal still streaming with us, as well as Team Yonan. Check out these streamers. These guys are doing a great job. They're doing a hell of a job, and they're fighting for their cause. They're trying to make it big. They're trying to get viewers. They're trying to get donations. So show them your support. Find them anytime I share them on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GinPros. Check it out and look for Team Yonan. He's the one on Facebook Gaming. So we're looking to acquire some more Gin Gamers. If you have anybody that streams or games or likes to do that and broadcast what they do gaming-wise, let me know. Get in contact with me, and we can figure out getting them signed and on once they get vetted and approved. So that's all I got for you guys. If you got anything, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put our email down below here, betwithgin@gmail.com, and also follow our link.tr, linktr.ee/GinPros, and check out all of our socials on there, and feel free to follow us, share this stream, and get the word out there. We're trying to get it out there to the masses and get the word out to the people that need to hear it. So I'll leave it at that, guys. Thank you for tuning into this edition of the Gin Pros live stream. I'm your host, as always, John J. II. Have a great night.